Hi, good morning. This is Damon Scott, Marketing Manager here at PVBS, and I want to thank everyone who's joining us today on our preview of Microsoft Dynamics 365 for Talent. Today we're going to be providing an overview, some areas of the employee lifecycle, which include recruiting, onboarding, and employee reviews as well. So a little housekeeping to take care of as we begin this. Just so you know, this webinar is being recorded, and it will be posted to our YouTube account later today. That's PVBS Dynamics NAV. If you have any questions as we're going through the webinar, you can post those into the question section, and as they're relevant to what we're covering, we'll try to get to those questions. We'll also try to save a little time at the end as well to answer some questions that you may have. However, if for whatever reason we can't do your question, we will try to contact you separately. Also, later today, you should receive an email invitation to take a post-webinar survey. We really appreciate any feedback that you can give to us. We want to make this a better learning tool for everyone, so please take a few minutes and answer some questions. We really, really do appreciate that. So our agenda today, again, we're going to talk a little bit about PVBS, who we are, what we do, and we're going to jump right into a demonstration of the Dynamics for Talent, again, save a little time for questions, and then what the process would be coming up after that. So a little bit about PVBS. We are a top-tier Microsoft Business Solutions partner. We serve only the government contracting market. Our headquarters are just outside Washington, D.C. in Reston, Virginia. It gives us a unique access and insight into the GovCon community. We're also an experienced leader with over 15 years of success in the government contracting market and an intelligent innovator with Microsoft systems. And as a result, PVBS is a direct resource for both government contractors and the Microsoft community. Okay. The software solutions from PVBS, again, we're going to be talking about Dynamics 365 for Talent, but we do offer for Business Central, which is for accounting, CRM, database management, Power BI for business intelligence, and PSA for project management. But the Microsoft Dynamics 365 for Talent that we're covering today is a full employee lifecycle human resource solution. So it empowers your HR team and people managers to hire, develop, and retain the right people that you can deliver impactful results. Also leverages the power of Office 365 and LinkedIn to quickly find and onboard the right people. So it's a comprehensive set of applications to help you tackle that human capital management needs, and also easily integrate with other platforms as well. And most importantly, it is certified by Microsoft. So with that, I'm going to turn things over to our presenter today, Mr. Courtney Sullivan. Courtney, welcome, and thank you for giving us a brief introduction into the talent for Microsoft Dynamics and sharing what you know with us.
Thank you. Good morning. As you mentioned, my name is Courtney Sullivan. I'm one of the consultants here specializing in talent for Dynamics 365. And before we get into our demonstration for today, I kind of want to give you, can tell you exactly what is talent. It's a collection of HR modules housed in one application within Dynamics 365. It allows the user to manage many of the day-to-day HR tasks all within one environment.
And while Courtney's setting up, I'm going to just launch a quick poll here. As we're going through this, and Courtney and I are going to show all this information, throwing up a quick poll here, what areas that you would like to improve on. And again, you can choose all that apply. There's the recruiting and job posting, onboarding, performance reviews, benefit management, and offboarding as well. And Courtney, as I'm looking at this, actually a lot of it's on the recruiting, job posting, and performance review side. But everything, looks like everyone's looking for everything though. But a lot of the numbers actually showing up on the recruiting, job posting side, performance reviews, benefits, and so forth. So Courtney's still getting things set up on his end here, and we're going to go ahead and move over to him right now. So looks like everyone's gotten their list in here. We have recruiting and job posting number 1, performance review number 2. Right behind that, actually onboarding, then benefits management and offboarding. Okay. There we go. And Courtney's all set up.
All right.
I need to change it.
All right, thank you.
Oh, hold on one second here. All right, so yep, here we go. All right, so Courtney, go ahead. Sorry.
All right, thanks again. All right, we're discussing the Attract and Onboarding Overview for Microsoft Dynamics 365 for Talent. Let's take a look at our objectives for today. Describe the talent and human resources experience. Navigate the Dynamics 365 for Talent application. Discuss the feature sets and benefits of using Talent. Overview of the Attract and Onboarding process within Talent. Review of the upcoming feature roadmap for Talent. Dynamics 365 for Talent offers solutions that are tailor-made to 3 key roles within your organization: candidate, employee, and human resources. From a candidate perspective, for candidates or people who are applying for positions in your organization, there are 2 modules within Talent that assist with everything from job postings, applications, interview, and starting a new job within the company. That's going to be Attract and Onboarding. Those 2 modules are going to be where we spend most of our time today, but we'll also take a look at some of the other useful modules as well. Okay. Employees and managers. Once an employee is hired, a variety of tools within Talent, such as self-service, employee development, compensation management, and HR benefit, allows you to customize the employee experience, also making sure employees are productive from day one of their start. For managers, they offer a comprehensive set of tools for performance management that allow you to help foster growth and develop with your employees. So it allows them to take control of their own development. Modules such as employee self-service, performance management, which we'll get in a little bit later on, allows employees to actually kind of see their growth throughout their entire term of their employment. Lastly, human resources personnel. For the human resource personnel, workers within your organization, which can include HR admins, benefit specialists, recruiters, etc. The combined tools and modules make it much easier to manage your day-to-day activities with everything being housed in one environment. You have the ability to manage the entire life cycle of an employee from the time they're applicant until the time they leave your organization. The goal of Dynamics 365 for Talent is to streamline your HR process. There are several advantages to using the Talent process. First, on an employee level, it's personalized. It can be customized to individual employees. You have the ability to make basic changes, such as updates to direct deposit information, address changes, marital status, things of that nature. From a manager perspective, visibility and transparency of the process help employees attain their potential. So it's a collaborative process by all the modules being combined in one location. So as an employee progresses through the organization, the manager and also an employee can combine to make sure their time there is extremely productive. And lastly, HR, move from transactional to strategic environment. So you no longer have to be it's not just a reaction. You can actually be proactive as far as the strategic planning within your organization. You're able to combine the entire journey once again all in one module or application. All right, so let's move on. Okay. So now let's take a look at some of the features and functionalities within Talent. Developing a human resource strategy, attract, recruit, hire, and motivate employees. Develop and train employees. Create and maintain benefits. Maintain workplace safety and compliance. And lastly, gather information using questionnaires. Once you've hired your staff, You can use the onboarding process through checklists. You can also set up plans to manage compensation, benefits, leave of absence, as well as a number of different tools within Talent. Develop and train employees. That pertains to the performance management, which we'll discuss a little bit later. Create and maintain benefits, from creating a plan, changing eligibility, also creating overrides, are all options that are available in that particular module. Maintain workplace safety and compliance, and gather information using questionnaires. All right, so let's talk about and discuss track. The first step within the track module is going to be the creation of a job. Next, you have the hiring process. And lastly, you have migrating applicants to the onboarding process. So these are the three main categories within their track. There's also 4 subcategories also: application, screening, interview, and also offer. And one of the major advantages of using Talent, all of these modules are all customizable. So depending on the job, you're able to create search for certain skills. As far as the hiring process, you can determine the amount of people involved in the hiring process. Migrating applicants to onboarding, you're able to create specific guides, so depending on job or groupings. Application process, screening, so you can add additional screening tasks if you need to add anything such as aptitude tests, if you need to add any type of drug screening, anything, a secondary phone interview. All those are all possible within that particular section of Talent. Customizing the interview process, if you want to make it an individual interview versus panel. You can also set up interview sequencing as well. So if there's multiple people involved in the interview process, you can actually add that in that portion of Talent. And lastly, offer. You're able to customize offers depending on jobs. One of the major partners with Microsoft, they've teamed up with LinkedIn to actually post jobs out to different job boards. So one of the major benefits of actually using LinkedIn, you're able to increase visibility and control of the recruiting and hiring process. You can define criteria for a job role, include location, skills, spoken languages, job titles to find prospective matching candidates. In addition to using LinkedIn, you have the ability to post out to additional job boards as well. So you can basically cast a wide shadow as far as bringing in candidates to bring in the best possible people for your organization. Next, we'll talk about onboarding. The main goal of onboarding is to make your applicants as productive as possible from day one. One of the main ways the talent application is able to achieve that is through the welcome guide. The welcome guide includes an introduction, activities, contacts, and resources. Introduction is a welcome to the company, gets the employee started. Activities includes the day one activities that you'd like to have them start. Contacts, so people who would be able to assist them as they start, such as employee mentors, direct reports, co-workers, also people within the organization within the same position or job role. And lastly, resources. So you're able to add attachments. So if there's any documentation that needs to be provided to the employee, anything as far as URL or trainings that you want to attach as part of the resources, you're able to include this. And in just a moment, we'll take a look at the actual talent environment, so you can actually kind of see those features and modules actually in the live environment.
Okay. So Courtney's going to go ahead and set it up so you guys can actually see the product and run through how to set up different things. In the meantime, while he's getting that set up, I'm going to throw a quick poll here. What kind of software are you currently using for HR? And we have a lot of government contractors, so iCIMS is on there, Oracle, Excel HR, UltraPro with Neosystems, and other. Looks like we're getting folks on the iCIMS and a lot of others. So I know there's the hard part with putting a poll like this together is there are literally hundreds of different HR software available. So can only put up 5. So looks like we're on to about almost 70% voting. Mostly everyone on other I'd say about a third on ISOMs, a couple on Oracle, no on Excel HR, I'm surprised, and just a small percentage on the Near Systems Multi-Pro. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over. Courtney, you ready?
Yep.
All right, terrific.
All right. All right. What we Okay. All right. What you're looking at now is the landing page for talent.
Hold on a second. Sorry. Little technical difficulty there. Courtney, I closed the poll. Should be back over to you. Do you need to share your screen again? Just check. For some reason, I'm showing this. Sorry about that, folks. We have a little technical difficulty trying to get it back over to Courtney here, and for some reason it's still showing up as the poll, and it should not be doing that. Courtney, let me do this. Just going to come back over to me, and then back over to you. You'll have to share your screen. We should be able to alleviate that problem.
Okay.
Again, apologize for that, folks. Okay, we're back on the Courtney's screen here again.
All right. All right. What you're looking at now is the Okay. All right, sorry for the delay. What you're looking at now is the landing page for talent. A couple sections I want to direct you to. If you go towards the left-hand side and expand out this pane, you're looking at all the different modules within talent. My primary focus today is going to be on the attract and onboarding, and we'll also discuss performance management as well. But also, if you can see, there's employee self-service, where it gives the employees the ability to go ahead and make basic changes to their employee record, such as direct deposit information, changing address information, updating contacts, things of that nature. Personnel management as well, which we'll take a look at. That actually includes the analytics tool. And actually, let's go into that workspace, kind of show you a little bit of that module. Okay. Once you're in the personnel management workspace, you can see a snapshot of the organization. Towards the top right-hand portion of the page, you can see in this particular demo, we have 83 total employees, 5 of which are contractors, 29 open positions. Right now, 0 approvals. Right now, 0 address changes. This particular module, in conjunction with Power BI, as well as a number of other tools, allows you to take a temperature check of your organization, so you can quickly kind of see where you stand as far as certain processes and certain procedures, and kind of where you are anywhere from year to date, monthly, weekly, pretty down to a pretty detailed level. Towards the bottom of the page, towards the different tabs, you see the different canned reports within talent. So let's go ahead and click on one. So let's click on Headcount Analysis. So here, so you see a quick overview of that information. For reporting purposes, if you want to access this information, pretty straightforward process. You will just quickly go to these 3 lines, click on this option. You're able to export that data into Excel spreadsheets. So really cool function within talent. So at the bottom, you see a number of different canned reports. If for whatever reason the information you're looking for isn't in those reports, there's also additional information in system administration. We can actually go and pull up any entity or any section within talent and actually export that out to an Excel spreadsheet. Task management works in conjunction with onboarding. So not only are you able to add tasks for new employees, existing employees as well. So if there's additional tasks that you need an employee to complete, you can actually add that here. You can do anything from, for instance, if there's a policy update, if there's additional documentation you need an employee to sign, that information can all be set up through the task management function. Beneath that tab, you see leave of absence, so you can coordinate leave of absence plans. Benefits, so you can enroll an employee in benefits for open enrollments. You can create plans. You can also create eligibility and also override rules. Beneath that tab, you see compensation management, so creating compensation plans for both fixed and variable. Learning tool, you're able to create courses for your employees, which also works in conjunction with performance management, which we'll take a look at that workspace. So you can actually create a number of courses for the employee development. So let's take a look at employee development. This is where the performance reviews are going to be housed. So you can kind of take a look at overview. Once again, this has the option of analytics tool built in also, so you can take a quick snapshot of kind of where you are as a company. Canned reports at the bottom to provide you additional information that you're able to export out to Excel. Okay. So now we're in the main heart of the employee development tab. The first tab you see is performance. So we're able to create a performance journal for the employee. We're able to create goals. We're able to create reviews. On the right-hand side, competencies, professional certificates. A little further on the right, competency setup. So we can include skill types, rating modules. Back to the left, beneath performance setup, goal categories, templates. So depending on department, depending on position, depending on grouping, you're able to set up different reviews. You're able to create annual reviews as well. You can also determine the length of the term of the reviews. So if it's a goal you want to set, a quarterly goal you want to set, if it's a yearly goal, if it's a long-term goal you want to set for an employee, all those options are available within the employee development tab. All right. So now let's move on to Attract. This is where we'll spend the bulk of our time. The Attract module, which is also where your recruiting information will be listed as well. That process begins by creating a job. Of course, you have the option to start your talent journey wherever you choose, but typically the Attract feature is the starting point for most of the customers we've dealt with so far. In order to create a job, you have a couple of different options. Before we actually get into the steps of creating a job, I want you to take a quick look at the landing page. You can see this is a couple of test jobs that we've created for the purpose of this demo. You can see the title of the jobs we've created. You can see the hiring manager. You can see the number of applicants for the job. You can see the number of days open. You also have the ability to create job templates as well. So if you want to have a certain number of jobs, you can actually create a template. So if there's certain skills, certain description, certain processes you want involved with that particular job, you can actually set it up on a template level also. So let's go ahead and create a job. Okay. Very user-friendly. Just simply click on the new, and you see this prompt come up. Now you have a couple different options as far as adding a job. You can do so on an individual level as a one-off. You also have the ability to pull in multiple jobs at one time also. So if you're doing mass hirings, you can actually simply add a job to an Excel spreadsheet, drag and drop into talent, upload, and those jobs are now visible within your application. For the purpose of the demo, we're going to create an individual instance of a job. So you simply just put the title here and also your role. So let's take a look at the job that we've created. Okay. So we've created a job for a safety manager, which is the title of our job. If we scroll a little bit towards the middle portion of the page, we have the title of the job. We have a short description as far as the job. On the right-hand portion of the page, we have the location. We have the skills needed for the job. We have the seniority type, employment type, full or part-time, job function, company industry can be added there. And one section in particular I want you to pay attention to, you have the option to make this either a public or internal job. Once the job is made public, you're able to push it out to different job boards. As I mentioned, LinkedIn is the preferred partner, but you're also able to push out to other external job boards as well. Internal only means, of course, only your internal candidates will actually be able to see this position. Okay. So once we've created the details for the job, we want to take a look at our hiring team. Now, your hiring team is going to be everyone involved in the hiring process. The information within talent, if they're part of the hiring process, they're only visible to these associates or to these individuals. To add a person to the hiring team, pretty straightforward process. So we'll show you what that looks like. Okay. Once talent has been set up, it'll have a directory of all the different employees within your organization. In this case, we're going to add Mr. Jones as one of our hiring team members. So here we see him in the bottom where he's been added, and now we determine his role, recruiter or interview. In this instance, we'll make him an interviewer. Okay, and he's set. Now, if any point if we need to delete any of these, we can simply just click on the right-hand side with action and actually remove that person from the hiring team. The last part of the job process is going to be customizing the hiring process. So here, there are 4 standard stages within the hiring process. You're able to add to these stages. If you need to add a drug screening, if you need to add a phone interview, if you want to add any additional aptitude tests, you're able to do so in this particular section of talent. You will simply just add a stage. In this instance, we'll make it let's say a drug screen. So we've added a drug screening here. So next we will just add activities. And we're going to add this in the drug screening portion. Okay. Now you have drug screening as part of your hiring process. Okay. Once the job has been completed, you hit activate. That would then push the job from a draft status to an active status. You then have the ability at that point to push it out to your different job boards. So once the job is created, the next step is to find applicants for that job. So let's go back to our jobs on page.
Real quick, Courtney, just a question came up about setting up the templates. So can you set up a template for each process? And if you have like multiple different processes, you can have different templates for each process. For example, contractors versus inside employees.
Absolutely. There's not a limit as far as how many different templates you can create. So depending on the job, for instance, if a particular job requires an aptitude test or requires a certain skill set that you like to add as part of the process, you can add that, and that can vary from job to job. And the purpose of the templates is that so you don't have to create that every time you actually go into an environment. Once you have an opening, you just simply go to that template, and then the hiring process has already been saved for future use.
Great. If anyone else has some questions, just go ahead and put those into the question section. We'll get to those as well.
All right. So let's go back to our landing page. Okay. So now we're going to create an applicant. So give me just a second. Let me put that out. There we go. Okay. Very similar to creating a job, you have a couple of options as far as creating applicants. Once the job is actually pushed out to a job board, it will automatically fill. That's one of the ways the position of the applicants will fill. It can also be filled manually as well. So you have the ability to individually add applicants, or you can actually import a master list of applicants as well. This is particularly helpful if you at a job fair, or for instance, if you run across a qualified candidate, you're able to manually add them to the application of the hiring application process. So for the purpose of this demo, we'll create it as a external applicant. You would add their first and last name, email information. You have the ability to, if they're coming from an external job board, the information will automatically populate. If it's an external candidate, you have the ability to upload information. So, for instance, a cover letter, resume, references, things of that nature can all be uploaded to the employee, and it'll be visible on the employee's profile going forward as they move through the screening of the applicant process. So let's take a look at an applicant that we've already created. So let's take a look at Mr. Washington. Okay. So here we have Mr. Washington as an applicant, and you can see the hiring process. One of the unique features about Talent, anyone involved in the hiring process has the ability to provide feedback regarding candidate. So if you could look at, in this instance, I'm listed as one of the people involved in the hiring team. I'm going to click on Provide Feedback. So now I have the option to either recommend this candidate or not recommend this candidate. Beneath that section, you'll notice the option to include notes and feedback as far as my decision. On the left-hand portion of the page, we see the candidate's profile, and beneath that, we also see the job details.
And that's a link to the resume as well, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's go ahead and recommend him. And whether you choose to recommend a candidate or not recommend a candidate, it's still going to request that you had feedback during that process.
And we know George Washington passed the drug test.
I'm not sure. He's still pending.
He's still pending.
All right. So let's go ahead and push the candidate through. So let's advance into the next stage. Okay. So let's backtrack a little bit. Before we actually go to the offer stage, one of the major advantages of Talent is that you have the ability to view the entire process. The process is the strong communication on all levels, from a candidate or from a job seeker standpoint. One of the pain points we run into is once the applicant once you've submitted a resume, kind of knowing where you are within the process. Through Talent, once the person is advanced to the applicant stage or the screening stage, they're sent an email notification with a suggestion as far as interview times. Once he or she responds to those interview times, that information is then pushed back to the hiring team. The Talent then looks at the availability of everyone involved in the hiring team and then recommends a meeting time. So depending on your email provider, whether it's Outlook, whether it's Gmail, once the interview time is confirmed, that information then populates on your calendar. All right. So now also at any point, if you decide to move on from the applicant, you have the ability to reject the applicant. Once you hit reject, you're able to put feedback. That applicant then moves from active status to closed status. So if at any point if you decide to take another look at the applicant, or if you have a position that you think they may be better for, you have the ability to actually retrieve the applicant as well.
It's also searchable, correct?
Absolutely.
So if I'm looking for someone with a certain security clearance, even though they were rejected for one position, right, they would show up if I did a search for them.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely. So let's get that. All right, so let's just complete it. I think this. And the offer is customizable. So depending on the position, you're able to customize and create an offer letter for the employee. We're going to change this offer from preparing. Okay. Once the offer has been accepted, that employee is then moved on to the onboarding process. So let's take a look at that module. All right. So we're looking at the landing page for module for onboarding. Once an employee is migrated over to the onboarding portion of Talent, you'll get a notification asking you to create a guide. This guide is customizable, so you are able to create templates for different positions as well. When creating guides, you can ask this for some basic information initially. First and last name of the employee, which automatically populates, email address, phone number, job title, when they're scheduled to start. Also within talent, if there's certain functions or certain tasks that need to be completed before an employee starts, you have the ability to actually send out the guide prior to the employee starting. So then in the instance of this employee, if we change the start date to, let's say the 27th, we can actually schedule the guide to go out prior to that start date. So for instance, I-9 information, if you want to make sure they bring their driver's license, if you want to make sure they fill out certain forms, you can actually have that information sent to the employee ahead of time. So once they actually start, that information is already on hand. So let's take a look at a guide that's already been created so you can kind of get an example of what that process looks like when it's fully fleshed out. So let's take a look at this gentleman. Okay. So here you have the Activities tab. So this is a list of activities that we've scheduled for the employee to complete. You can see due date, so when you want to schedule employees. You can also see if the task has been completed or not. So in this instance, we have complete a background check, attend new employee orientation, senior required training, and the remaining portion of the list. So actually we have a list of tasks that were scheduled for the employees and also a due date. And then on top of that, this is the welcome letter. So this is what the employee would receive. Just a quick blurb, kind of welcome them to the company, kind of letting them know what to expect. The next section we're taking a look at is contacts. So this is a list of all the employees within the organization who, if they have any questions or concerns, they can reach out to. Like I said, this can include their manager. This can include other employees. If they have a laptop or any other equipment, IT personnel, pretty much anyone you can think of, you can actually include this contacts list.
I think it's a great feature. I've done a lot of contracts, and it's always good to know who does what, how to get a hold of them, and the email addresses are there. Does it include phone numbers as well?
It does.
Okay.
It does. It does. All right. And lastly, we'll take a look at resources. Really great feature within Talent. You can pretty much include anything you can think of, from URL links that you want to include as far as training. You can include, you can attach files to this. You can attach training materials. Pretty much anything, like I say, anything that you may think the employee may need, you can actually include as part of this resources list. For this particular template, we see we're asking the employee to set up direct deposit information. We have a benefits guide. You can include employee handbook, organizational chart. Pretty much you name it, it can be included within this list. And also, the system tells you whether or not the guide has been sent. Also, through one thing we didn't cover, through also a track and also onboarding, you have the ability to do mass hiring projects as well. So if you're bringing on 50, 100 people at a time, through both those modules, you're able to do so on a mass level. So you aren't onboarding and hiring associates or applicants on one by one.
So you can just have it all set up and send it out, and you don't have to worry about doing one at a time.
Absolutely.
That's great.
Absolutely.
So I mean, we have a lot of government contractors that typically put on 5, 10, 15, 50 jobs at a time. That certainly saves a lot of time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And as far as onboarding employee, that pretty much concludes that process. Once the employee has been onboarded, then you can then go to adding compensation. You can add to setting up benefits, things on a more detailed level also.
So I don't know if we have time to look at a few other modules. We have about 10 more minutes or so, about 10, 15 minutes. while we're doing that, we're looking at some of the other things here. I'll throw up another poll real quick. Just a quick question. As far as, when you're looking at software, what sort of things influence your decision? You can choose all those that apply. So obviously price could be a factor, features, brand name, industry knowledge or the reputation within that industry that the company that you're buying from, client testimonials as well. It looks like we've got about 30% of the folks voted so far. A lot on features, a lot on client testimonials, price, of course. We'll leave that up for a few more seconds here while Courtney gets us ready for the next little section here. It looks like we've got almost everyone voted here. I'll leave it up for about 10 more seconds here. Looks like a lot of price, features, testimonials. Brand name, surprised. Very, very few folks on the brand name. So, but again, it's a Microsoft solution, and we're very proud of that. So I'm going to close this, and Courtney, I'm going to send it back over to you.
Okay. All right.
And it worked that time. Very good.
Another important module I want to take a look at is going to be system administration. Within this module, depending on the roles within the organization, you're able to set up security on a really detailed level. You're able to limit visibility. So for instance, if you have a particular role within your company and you want them only be able to access certain information, this is the section where you'll be able to do that. For instance, if you have someone who's responsible for coordinating or setting up, the onboarding of their track piece, you can limit their visibility to compensation. If you have someone who's coordinating, your HR specialist who's coordinating the benefits and leave of absence, you can have other information restricted. So you can actually do it to a pretty detailed level. Within this workspace, also, you'll notice this is where your information is going to be housed as far as finding additional reporting information. So anything that you aren't able to find in the Analytics tab, you're able to actually go into the section. So any entity, so any specific things from like jobs to departments to titles, you're able to actually export that information out of this section. And pretty straightforward process. I can kind of show those templates and what that looks like. So let's go back into our home page for system administration. Go to data management. So within this section, if you aren't able to find reports within the Analytics tab that meet your needs, you can actually come to this section and look at a detailed list of all the different available fields within Talent. If for whatever reason that entity or that field is still missing, within Talent, you're able to create custom fields as well. So if there's a particular, such as, give an example, say for instance, your organization t-shirt sizes. You can actually create a custom field labeled t-shirts. You can actually import that information. Once that information has been imported into Talent, now it's a valid entity, so you'll be able to create ongoing reports based on that particular field. And I can show you how the process would look. So towards the top portion of the page, we're looking at some of the different fields within Talent. So if you want to add additional fields to this, you're able to add customized fields to Talent at any point. So one of the things we really like about Talent is that if you don't initially see something that works for you, or something that you're able to access, you're able to customize the process and kind of add on. They're constantly making changes as well. And one of the things we'll get into next is actually our roadmap, so you can kind of see the upcoming features and some of the things Talent has on the horizon.
So you're serious about the t-shirt, though? Very good. That's actually kind of fun. It's actually pretty good. I know from a marketing point of view, you know, a lot of times we'll order shirts for the company. We have to go around and try to figure out what size to get everyone and bulk it out there. But that's actually kind of a neat little feature. And if you can add any kind of feel, that's pretty cool.
Right. And it could be things such as if you want who has a laptop, who has certain equipment, you can add that. You can add that field. Pretty much.
Even clearances and so forth.
Absolutely.
PMP certification.
Absolutely. And once you've created those fields, that information, if you look towards the top portion of the page, you have the ability to open in Microsoft Office. So you're able to create reports from this section as well.
It's interesting. Courtney's going to switch us over here. Go ahead. All right, so Courtney's just going to go ahead and get back to his PowerPoint presentation. Again, if you have any questions as we're going through, I know there's been a couple that have come in here, but there's the question section, anything that you want to see, you need us to kind of go back through a little bit. Courtney's going to touch on the roadmap of what's happening with Dynamics 365 for talent, what's coming up and what's happening.
Okay. So now we have a snapshot of our October roadmap for Dynamics 365 for talent. One of the recent modules we did take a look at was the Attract. They're making updates to the candidate profile. So once you're able to move candidates into different pools. So for instance, if you come across a candidate that you really like, but for whatever reason you didn't bring them on for whatever reason, you're able to actually separate those into different categories. You're able to look at the candidate profile. So you're able to bring in multiple sources into a single view for the hiring team. Video applications. So you can integrate Stream and Video Indexer into Talent to bring.
Sorry.
Good. To bring different scenarios to the hiring team. Offer management. We talked about how that process is customizable. They're going to upgrade that process. So now you have the ability you can use Adobe and DocuSign. So things, I-9, policy, performance reviews, things like that. You can actually include that feature as far as signing the documentation. Okay. In regards to offer management, talent admins can create and manage their organization's offer document templates and offer package templates. Talent admins can set applicants their offers. These offer data sets provide the guardrails and offer values. And system intelligence can recommend which templates can be used for creating offers based on understanding the job and candidate.
And just so that folks understand that this roadmap that Courtney's covering, Microsoft does this every year. They go through their clients, they ask them what problems they're having, what they like, what they don't like, what they need, what they don't need, and the constant improvement on the software. So probably almost every year, sometimes less than that, maybe every 10 months, Microsoft's reissuing a new product, virtually a new launch of the same product with talent. So that's what Courtney's going through. So just so you understand, so like in October, there's a new launch that's coming out, and these are some of the things that they're going to be looking at. Real quick, Courtney, though, a question did come in. In the onboarding tool, are the forms maintained on our end, or are those forms that we need to import and maintain? I don't know if that question makes sense for you, but I think the question is the onboarding tools, the forms maintained on our end, so are they templates, or are they forms that would be uploaded?
There will be forms that were uploaded into Talent.
Okay.
Means as far as it's like an I-9 form or.
Yeah, I think so. So, all right, I'll let you continue. We'll take any other questions as well.
No problem. Updates as far as talent pools, which we discussed, kind of gives you the ability to customize and organize different applicants. Candidates can be imported directly into those talent pools or moved from jobs that they apply. Search and filter, it'll make it a lot easier to find the right candidates for your talent pools. And when viewing a candidate, it's easy to see their past application history, so you can tell if they've applied for certain positions in the past. And the right candidates can easily be added to your open positions. So if you have an open position that's in play, you can actually go to a previously stored candidate and actually match them up with that job. And going forward, the candidate profiles will be compared to job requirements. So as a certain job becomes available, if there's an applicant that has the required skills and necessary for that job, the system will make recommendations. Relevant candidates are identified when viewing your jobs. Jobs are recommended with viewing groups of candidates in your talent pools. And jobs that a candidate might be a good fit for are displayed when viewing a candidate profile. So these are all upcoming features within talent. Let's say it's constantly being updated and for the better. Things that are possible now weren't possible a couple months ago. It's really grown by leaps and bounds. It's one of the applications that Microsoft is really putting a lot of resources into.
Okay. Courtney, sorry, another question about the onboarding tool, and I know in the beginning this was from the poll that onboarding was a big portion of it. So due dates were assigned to different tasks. Is there a way to hide tasks from candidates until their due dates? In other words, is there a way not to display any tasks with due dates in the future? I believe that the candidate wouldn't see these to begin with, right?
No.
Yeah. Okay. But if you had to, you could hide them, I guess.
Right. You could push that information out to the candidate if you wanted to.
Terrific. All right. So is there anything else?
No. Lastly, we're just kind of looking at some of the advantages and benefits of using talent. Like I said, I've worked with a couple different systems in the past. Really excited about working with talent. I mean, I think the possibilities are limitless. So they're constantly making changes and updates for the better to really kind of really streamline the HR process.
Terrific. All right, we got a couple minutes here for any last questions, and as we're going through our Q&A here. So if anyone has any questions, we'll wait a few seconds here. Otherwise, you can certainly reach out to us. You should have my email address. If not, you can certainly contact me, damon.scott@pbbs.net. There's our phone numbers, address. Follow us on Twitter. Look us up on LinkedIn. But it's been a pleasure. Courtney, thank you so much for taking us through talent. If you think of any questions later on, please contact us. But otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.